Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy Golden Falls Golden, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back. Yeah, so I did take a day off. Sorry about that. I know I said I wanted to try and do daily. Obviously, that didn't work out for the most part, but hey, man, I'm still here. Even back when I was doing daily, I would take a day off from time to time. I just had allergies bugging me. I know a lot of you were like, "Oh, feel better, rest up." It's really just allergies. I don't know how to explain it. It's just sometimes I get bad allergies, so it's like hard for me to like talk properly without like sneezing or sounding like super nasally. So I'm like, I literally can't record. So yeah, okay. So sorry for the rant. For those just wanting to watch the video, this is What If Tanjiro had sun breathing from the start, the finale. You'll see why it's the finale for sure in a second or two. But yeah, with that said, I want to just jump right into the story. So let's get it. Tanjiro and Rengoku would be back at the Hashira mansion, and they're well. I mean, they're not perfect. They're definitely tattered, battered, and injured massively, but they're still well. At least they're not dead, and they've done something that really no one has ever done, really ever in the history of being a demon slayer, and that's killing an upper moon. And it's not just a simple upper moon. This was Upper Moon 3 Akaza. Akaza was something different, and the power he showed and everything he was showing truly was absolutely remarkable. And the fact that they were able to actually defeat him, and on top of that, show off what's known as a Demon Slayer mark now, it is something that all the Demon Slayers must strive for massively. This would be a time where Ubuyashiki would even tell Tanjiro that it's now time for him to take the mantle of becoming another Hashira. Normally they wait for one to pass on or leave or disband, but they decided they're going to open up a slot for Tanjiro himself. And yes, he does need training and he does need work, but the fact is he unlocked a Demon Slayer mark. He's the only sun breather alive, and on top of that, he has almost mastered the art of sun breathing entirely. And well, in due time, he'll be able to master it in its entirety completely, and maybe even give it another level to the forms. Now, with that said, he is inducted into becoming the next Hashira, and has now become the sun breathing Hashira, or the Sun Hashira. Now, this wouldn't change his let's just say missions that much. He would still deal with a couple different things, but he would be kind of inclined to help out and teach, maybe even train with the other Hashira so that they can maybe get the ability to unlock the Demon Slayer mark. But we all know it's never that simple. To gain the Demon Slayer mark, you really need to be in the feat of battle and be on that last brink of basically death. Now, this is a perfect time to transition into the Entertainment District arc, but let's just say Tanjiro most likely wouldn't be heavily involved in this arc. It would actually be Inosuke, Zenitsu, and, well, we know him, Tengen Uzui. Now, you might be thinking, well, them three they're gonna die, they're gonna lose. But we are dealing with a Tanjiro who has unlocked the Demon Slayer mark earlier on, has continuously been training with Zenitsu and Inosuke, who have been trying to keep up with him every step of the way, even though he's been ahead of them since the very beginning. So we have a stronger Inosuke and Zenitsu, and also a stronger Tengen Uzui, who is striving to actually get the Demon Slayer mark himself. And let's just say, the fight with Daki and Gyutaro, well, it's not only spectacular, flashy, and gorgeous, but is the perfect time for Tengen Uzui to unlock his Demon Slayer mark. And soon, when that fight would rage on, when Tengen would take on Gyutaro by himself, and also, well, Inosuke and Zenitsu would take on Daki 2-on-1, all three of them would unlock their Demon Slayer marks, slaying the demons, and as the crows sound and as the birds chirp, another upper moon has now been felled, and all three of them are in complete and utter disbelief. Because in a matter of months, an Upper Moon 3 and Upper Moon 6 have been extinguished and killed and wiped off of the face of the earth. Muzan himself is absolutely disgusted by the revelation, and now the revelation that the Demon Slayers believe that they actually stand a chance against them. All he wants is immortality, and that is what he seeks, and that's what he will get. And frustration would be boiling over, especially because all he wants to do is basically now get rid of these Demon Slayers for good. Like, get rid of them for good. And Tanjiro, well, let's just say he continues the training, continues extinguishing demon after demon, going on missions on his own, and continues to level up more and more and more. And this right here is the scary part about dealing with a Tanjiro this far accelerated, because he's now at the point leading up into the Swordsmith's village arc. He's at the point now that he has mastered the art of sun breathing, has now gained the full ability to use the Demon Slayer mark, and his progression into sun breathing continuously evolves his fighting skills more and more and more, so much so that he unlocks abilities that very few Demon Slayers have ever seen before, like the see-through world. Now, this is something that many Demon Slayers never will grasp or even touch in their entire lives, like not even one bit. So when he heads to the Swordsmith's village to try and just get some extra training with a somewhat robotized or somewhat mimicked version of Yorichi, he is in the right place at the right time, and so is Michiro and Mitsuri. Now, they would obviously be forced into taking on someone like Hontengu with the help of Genya as well, and it seems like this fight is definitely in their favor. I mean, you have someone like Nezuko, you have Genya, who's not as strong as most of them there, but he's still decently strong in terms of what he can do, in terms of certain abilities he can acquire. Then you have Michiro on his own taking on Gyoko, and then you have Mitsuri there as well to help. And this fight is a lot easier, especially because Tanjiro has mastered all sun breathing forms, and they would continue to just pile on an onslaught to take out Hontengu. Actually, so much so that Tanjiro would most likely be able to slice through the smaller version of Hontengu's neck relatively easy. And that comes down and boils down to the fact that he's able to actually see where this smaller version of Hontengu is and where the version he needs to take out. So the blood demon art that he normally would reveal, that he would manifest emotions and basically clones of his younger self, wouldn't really even matter, because they would most likely be eliminated before a lot of them could flat out be revealed to a large degree. And even if they got to the very end, where they all combine together and become this powerful, monstrous being, this version of Tanjiro is not running away. This version of Tanjiro is 1000% able to stand on the front lines with Mitsuri, dodging these giant wood-like monsters that slice through the ground coming toward them, and they're able to close that distance to fight this version of Hontengu. And of course, this would lead them to finding the small, tiny version of Hontengu, and this allows them to actually kill Hontengu once and for all. But yeah, of course, this fight, in my opinion, with Tanjiro evolving so much more than he would have been at this point, would allow them to easily defeat this demon. And the thing is, this is kind of where I would have to force things to happen for things to actually be fully, you could say, fulfilled. Because I honestly think that they would defeat all of these demons long before sunrise, and you may not even get Nezuko's evolution to actually becoming immune to the sun. And we all know that this would lead to Muzan, yes, Muzan hunting down Nezuko and starting the final arc, for the most part, of Demon Slayer. But here's the thing. There's a good chance that Nezuko just flat out doesn't conquer the sun because she's just not in the right place at the right time. But still, let's just, for the sake of the story, we'll have it so that they actually defeat the demons, yes, easier, but it still drags on till the end of, well, the night. And as the sun rises, Nezuko gets struck by the sunlight and she burns, and Tanjiro tries to cover her and save her, but then she just stops burning, and, well, she's able to actually then spit out her little bamboo stick and speak like a normal person. And it's kind of crazy. This version of Nezuko, she is a demon, but she's not demon-like, she's like a human all over again, and she's able to interact with everybody. But we all know this would lead to the hunt for Nezuko by Muzan, and this is where I will say things are heavily in favor of the Demon Slayers. Not just because they're able to kill a ton of these other demons, but also because Akaza has now been perished and is now dead. But the fact is, Tanjiro would have gotten to the point where he has mastered sun breathing, even more so now, especially when you go through the entirety of the training arc, the biggest and the most insane training arc they will go through, putting their bodies through hell and also just training to the utmost power. This training would benefit Tanjiro massively, to the point that, yes, he is a hashira, but he's never gone through this insane amounts of training. So when he does, it is absolutely over. This version of Tanjiro is on a level that maybe even be higher than the one he was at the end of the story. This Tanjiro enters the battle against Muzan and many others at a totally different level. Now, you may be wondering, who's he fighting? Who's he going to take on? Akaza's already dead, so that frees up Tomioka, that frees up Tanjiro. Obviously, I'm still going to have Tengen retire just because that's Tengen, and I feel like he was going to do that anyways. But we also have another hashira in Rengoku. So who are they taking on? Well, I could see Rengoku and Tomioka going on to actually take on someone like Kokushibo, helping out the Stone Hashira, Genya, the Wind Hashira, and the others that actually take on Kokushibo, which would be Muchiro as well, I believe. Now, this would lead to Tanjiro having to fight someone too, so who would he fight in this scenario? Well, I honestly believe that it's definitely a move for him to take on, well, Doma. Doma gets taken on by Tanjiro, Kanao, and also Inosuke, which, being transparent, these are stronger versions of all of these characters because of the level that Tanjiro was at when he met them. And this fight would be a lot easier, but still needed a sacrifice by Shinobu to make sure that Doma bites the dust. And with 2 extra hashiras helping against for the fight of Kokushibo, we obviously know that that fight is going to be in the favor of those hashira. But here's the thing. Not as many people will die. I can still see Genya possibly dying in this scenario, but a lot of others will still be alive and will not be as wounded as they would have been in the first place. And the fact is, a lot of these people just needed a little bit extra help, and slicing away one person like Akaza allows them to have that extra bit of health. So now we have way more healthier versions of the hashira, Tanjiro, Inosuke, Kanao, and many others, willing and able to take on the final boss, Muzan. Yeah, Muzan Kibutsuchi, because at the end of the day, well, this fight is going to be a difficult one, even with Muzan having the cure pumping through his veins, reverting him more and more and more. Now, this fight is easier than the one in canon, but it's still difficult in general. We are talking about stalling until the sunrise, and Tanjiro battles his absolute heart out, utilizing every single form of sun breathing all in unison, while everybody tries their best to back him up. Tomioka, Rengoku, Muchiro, and many others. It's as if he's now unlocked a different version of himself, one that Muzan flat out cannot keep up with, and it would lead to the sun rising, them stopping Muzan, and Muzan burning up to dust. And this version, well, Tanjiro doesn't even get transformed into a demon, and they don't even have to go through the massive struggle just because of how healthy and how many people are actively participating or able to actively participate in this fight without being, you know, absolutely killed and killed off. And quite a few people still can survive, and quite a few people still survive the final battle. Not like, you know, the normal where a ton of them do die. So a lot of them can live out their very, very short lives because they all basically have the Demon Slayer mark. And as sad and bittersweet as that is, we all know that eventually they'll come back to life in a totally different time, totally different world, basically, where they're able to live out their boring lives as normal people and not having to fight off demons for the rest of the world. But with that said, that is the end of What If Tanjiro had sun breathing from the start. If you enjoyed, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And as I said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Yeah, so tomorrow will be most likely the movie of this, so just a full compilation. So show love to the videos. I hope y'all keep enjoying, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.